Alright guys, and we're back here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, YouTube and all that good stuff. This is our second attempt because I forgot to plug in a wire. And you can't stream if you're on Wi-Fi, so that was my bad. Anyone joining us, you get the botch and you get to experience it twice. So good, we did it twice.
Shout out to Matthew for the botch.
Exactly. Sin Cara has nothing on me. But listen, I was saying for anyone who was listening on the last stream, we were talking about things you shouldn't Google before we get into our epic Simpsons retrospective. And yeah, don't Google Lemon Party. It's a bad time.
What?
Yeah, seriously.
What is it?
What happened was I was doing my masters, and we were in the room where you read all books and all that kind of crap. I had my laptop, and one of the guys who was doing the master was like, "Hey, can I borrow your laptop for a minute?" And he types in Lemon Party, and it is the worst thing you'll ever see. Well, not probably ever see, because that's a bit excessive, but it's not a very pleasant thing to see. It's a part of the body that's exclusive to men, and it's old men doing things with it. It's not a good time. So yeah, don't Google it. I would. That's my.
No, Google Lemon Party.
Yeah,
computer safety is important, guys.
Yeah.
Just
I'd also recommend not searching for the sandbox GIF or for Blue Waffle.
Yes, these are all like 2010, 2011. This was how long ago it was.
It's not older.
Yeah, well, this was all this kind of stuff, and yeah, seriously, do not a good time.
This has been your public service announcement. Do not look at weird stuff.
Yeah, or at least be aware it's to not give your computer away to random people and then not expect them to abuse the privilege, because that's what happens.
And that's when Dara learned that he should be interested in cybersecurity.
Exactly, that's when I learned. That was the moment. Never again. But yeah, guys, we have a lot to get through. This stream should hold up. So if you are listening, thank you for sticking with us. Subscribe, hit the bell, that really helps us. And smash that like button.
Yeah.
I hate that phrase. But yeah, that does help us out a great deal. We're on Periscope, Mixer, YouTube, Twitch. If you follow our Twitter, we're there as well. And of course, we're on Phoenix 92.5 FM every Saturday. So guys, before we get into it, opening thoughts of the second part of season 5 of The Simpsons. Who wants to go?
As good as the first part. Is pretty much how I feel about it.
Okay.
As good.
Okay. What about you, Kev? Because you missed out on this. You missed out on the first part.
I did. I think I'd say not as good, but by like a margin. And again, that's Cape Fear. That's
interesting.
I cannot it is up to like the same caliber as most, but it doesn't have it. Again, it's splitting a season down the half. Then it just so happens that the first season has the best episode of the season.
Before I go to Lisa, Cape Fear is the highest rated one. It is 9.2. The rest are all around the 8s. So, I would say like the latter part has some of my favorite moments, has one of my favorite episodes, but I can totally see.
There is no. I said I don't want to linger on this. There is just no point of that episode that doesn't hit. Every second of that. It's the most efficient time to joke ratio.
Yeah.
The joke rate in that episode is pretty much perfect. I mean,
also we're missing the Halloween episode because that is in the first part as well. So it's kind of it's fighting a losing battle already.
But again, that's like, I'm not saying that to put this down, because there is brilliant stuff in here as well.
Oh, definitely.
Like as I said, not as good, but just by literally a hair. It is splitting apples and apples.
What do you think, Lisa?
Of season 5 overall?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because when I was going through all the episodes there, just because I was like, oh, they talked about the first half last week, now we're going to be talking about the second half. It's so heavy going, just in terms, because every episode is so meaty. Like there's so much kind of pop culture content within every episode, and then as well as that, just the meme factor the quotability, like every single episode, whether or not some aren't as good as the others, but every single episode, I actually couldn't believe when I was writing out my list that was just one season, because like things like with Chowder and Mindy and Don't Ask Me, I'm Just a Girl, it's just like everything, like every episode, or Mr. Burns and Bobo, like every episode has so much in it, and I can't believe it's all from one season.
Well, here's something we talked about last week, or last time we did, because it's been 2 or 3 weeks. This is the first, we think, our consensus was this season, the next season, season 7, were the ones that were mostly played on Irish TV growing up.
Season 8.
Season 8, which is probably why it's so heavily ingrained in meme culture now, because these are the ones that we would watch every day.
Yeah.
Over and over and over and over and over again. It just so happened to be the best of the series.
Yeah. Even just for meme groups online, like ISF or something like that. Nearly just so many memes, like it's actually boggles the mind how many memes are taken from like pretty much every episode. And
watching it has like ticked off boxes that are like, I've seen 5 of this meme today, I've seen 7 of that meme yesterday. So,
I have to say though,
basically
my favorite of the meme groups, I really like Rock Bottom and Simpsons board posting. IFIC, I don't really like that much. Sorry, it's just the people there bug the hell out of me. Because they're all commies. And I'm just like, no. The only bad thing about Rock Bottom is they're all Australians. So a lot of the references I don't get. I don't know what a pinga is. Someone help me.
I'm assuming it's some kind of yoke.
I think it's a bar.
Is it? No,
I don't know.
It's a drug.
I'll just
I
assume
think it'd be like
Foster's.
our yolks.
Fair. I thought it was some kind of beer too, or a bar. I'm like, I don't know what this thing is.
No, VB is there's a V8 is the beer they kept going on about when I was on Facebook.
Yeah. No, that's the thing. And it's like sometimes that just happens. I'm like, I have no idea what's going on, but any of the best Irish Simpsons memes that happen, I either get them through osmosis or I get them through Twitter. With a good level of distance from the garbage that they talk about. I'm like, I can safely go my whole life with it. It's like what Bryn is doing, not being on Facebook. The important stuff reaches him.
Yep.
The important stuff reaches me too, away from the group of.
I get all the best Irish Simpsons fan memes from Reddit.
That's fair. Reddit's a good place too. Actually.
That's highly debatable, but
in some cases, in other cases, it's not. I will have to say I really enjoyed Reddit recently because I've been trying to get into handheld pocket Linux machines.
Yeah,
and the one that I want they don't make anymore. I can't get them anymore. I'm not going to spend like €150 on one, so I'm trying to find alternatives. And
we are not letting you talk about handheld pocket Linux
devices
on this goddamn podcast.
No, we're not going down that rabbit hole.
You're not doing it.
I will leave the Zoom party now.
Guys, Linux is awesome.
So anyway, Homer the Vigilante. What are you thinking?
So Star Wars.
Here's how Homer the Vigilante is like Star Wars.
Okay, so where we stopped last week, we stopped with Springfield, or how I learned to stop worrying and love legalized gambling. That was a good place to start. It was a natural kind of break. I think that's probably one of my favorites of the whole season. So when we kind of went into it, I was shocked that this run of The Simpsons, like these 4 or 5 episodes, had such a strong story arcs through them. Like, they're all hits, right? The one we just mentioned, Homer the Vigilante, Bart Gets Famous, Homer and the Pooh, and Lisa versus Malibu Stacy.
Oh my
back
God.
to back to back. It's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
No, it's excellent. Like I tried to watch, like, just kind of have them on in the background while I was playing video games. I just had to put down Resident Evil 4, and I just like, I can't focus. I need to actually pay attention because this is so good.
Yeah, no. Look, if take it from somebody who has done it, background Simpsons, it's not these seasons. It's the later ones. Or if you really want to go to hell, season 17. That's the worst season of The Simpsons. Oh my God, that's dark. I'm convinced there's a circle of hell that is just, from season 15 to 23 The Simpsons. and that's all you get. Oh, you like The Simpsons, do you? I'll have all the Simpsons in the
Simpsons
world.
in the world.
And that's exactly what it is.
And that's why they're on season 32.
Exactly. Well, I will have to say, it gets better from like season 25. Just saying. Okay, so Homer the Vigilante, guys. This is the one we're starting off with.
Yeah.
I love this one. This one's great. It has Sam Neill in it, which
Sam Neill.
Which I didn't know until 2 or 3 years ago that he was there, and I'm like, oh wow, it makes so much sense. That performance is unbelievable. Such a great episode. It's really good and topical too, which is even more scary.
Yeah, the joke rate in it is absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's just like when he's on Nightline, he's like, Paddy Vanzelin is down 900%, is up down is down like 100%, but brutal sack beatings are up 900%. And he goes, I'm not going to deny that my group isn't causing crimes, and you're like, this is amazing.
Just the sequence. Just the sequence where the kids are throwing the rocks at the house, and the life starts shooting lasers, and the house next door gets up, runs, falls down, and that's on fire.
But that's a callback.
It's a callback to Dr. Frank's one.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's just like that 20-second spam where I just was I had to pause because I was creasing myself.
One of my favorite bits as well is like he's bringing up all those stats of like different crime stats to Homer, and Homer says, "But you can make you can make up stats to justify any argument you make. 62% of people know that." He's like, "Oh yeah, that's true."
I just like, we have our first call, and I mean ever, because this isn't a call-in show, and you're like, how did that happen? Like, it's like, so we know, so we can infer that, like, or infer here that, like, Malloy is like a master hacker, over or a phreaker, because in the 90s that was a thing where you'd hack signals through a phone. So Malloy is like a master criminal, really, like legitimacy. So
he's probably been doing this for far longer.
Exactly.
You think was able to walk far more vertically than usual. So
no, I love when Homer is like, when Abe is like recounting what happened, and just like, I'll catch up with you, and then he like fires the grappling hook and walks up, and you're just like, amazing, so good.
He was wearing sneakers for sneaking.
Best quote for like when Jimbo wants to join the group, and Homer's like, "Can you swing a sack of doorknobs?" He's like, "Here's the sack. You gotta provide your own knob."
No, the best one is where he's just like, "I don't believe in nothing no more. I'm going to law school." He's like, no.
In fairness, this episode has like one quote I just use whenever the chance arises, and that's, "No, is it dig up, stupid?" Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I was sorry, got confused. Thought it was Boy in the Well. It is this one.
The Boy in the Well has Sting.
Yeah.
Not the wrestler. The actual artist Sting.
No, only you would think of the wrestler.
Well, no,
I didn't know there was a wrestler.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh.
No, we're not.
That's bait. That's bait. That's just like that's the. What can derail Dara this week?
Do not feed the Dara.
No, do not.
Do not bait him.
Do not bait.
Baiting beauty.
So Bart gets famous. This is one of my favorites of the whole series. It's brilliant from start to finish.
It has one of my all-time favorite quotes.
Only I may dance.
Well, yeah. Only I may dance.
This is way before my time. Did Conan have a talk show at this time? At the point,
just got his.
He just got it. This is why he left. So some background information. He was a writer for The Simpsons.
Yeah,
obviously. Then he got offered his talk show. I think there was litigation involved where he had to be bought out of a Simpsons contract. But and he came back, and this is it. But he had just got it because Leno was like the pillar of. At that point, but he still had it. Like, it was before my time as well, but Conan was doing that show for a good 20 years nearly. So
pretty much, yeah.
Because I just seem to remember him being a writer on The Simpsons for a lot longer than this.
No, he wasn't.
No, but this was the thing. There was a good few people like that where they weren't a writer for all that long on The Simpsons.
But they're
moved on to do late night comedy. Or they'd move on to other projects. Like, they lost a lot of writers to both The Critic and to Futurama. So
I heard about the Futurama exodus.
Well, The Critic, that's why there was that crossover that Matt Groening refuses to put his name on.
Yeah. By the way, if you haven't seen The Critic, do yourself a favor and watch
Buy
The
my
Critic.
book.
Brilliant.
Buy my book.
It stinks. It stinks. It
Yes,
stinks.
Mr. Sermon. Everything stinks.
The Critic is so good. It's a show that when I was watching, and we'll probably talk about that when we get to it. It's a show that I didn't know was a thing until much later on. And I'm like, oh, wow, okay, it was a crossover. And then when you watch the episode, you're like, it just makes way more sense with all the jokes or crossovers.
The thing that when I finally got around to watching The Critic, that completely blindsided me was just like how frequently that show would throw out these like quick one-liners that are so funny because you're just never expecting anything like what the character's going to say to come up, and it's amazing.
It's very
Also,
sharp. Very sharp.
Like, it's one of the sharpest comedies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's brilliant.
It's like we were talking about joke rate and, tight, meaty shows. The Critic is not like that. It's just, and that's because all the writers pretty much went there, or to Futurama. Again, there's a great book that I would really recommend. It's Zombie Simpsons. I don't know if you should be able to pick it up. And then there's also How the Simpsons Conquered the World. It all covers these periods in time, which is great. So definitely worth your time to read those books. And as we're going through some tidbits like Conan O'Brien leaving, it's covered in like a lot of detail, so pick them up. Another thing about Bart Get Famous, I didn't do it. This is also like a play on the rise of Bart as a pop culture figure, because at this point he had already kind of been there and done that. So it's like
it's
meta.
a strange kind of meta commentary on a subculture, because like was Do the Bartman out at this point?
Oh yeah. Like this is like 4 or 5. This is like 4 years after, or like 3 years after. 1901, I think, Do the Bartman came out. So we'd already had this Simpsons mania where Bart was like what he's portrayed in. It's extremely meta, but it's also kind of funny. Like this is the first time in the Simpsons run where they start getting self-depreciating, where it's like, oh, you're over. Everyone has their time, and this is the first. And then like later on, you start seeing it, and then even in the new series, they're like, oh, nothing should last 30 years, and look at the camera, and you're like, we get it, we get it. Like, the beat you over the head with it, but this was the first time this really popped up.
Well, again, like by this point, they are at like what I can't the 80 odd episodes.
Yeah,
so like
it would be
even though like we've been binge watching over the past like 2 or 3 months, this was a while coming. Like, so they were on this, like they'd have been on this for enough years to kind of start circling back on things. Start self-referencing.
The core writers for this would have been working on this since '87. So at this point, this is probably like year 8 for them.
Yeah.
Like,
but you can tell like it's reached a crescendo where we're getting the cream of the show now. Like now until the end of season 8, arguably, is when you start getting the best of the show, and then it starts petering out. But they're starting to be aware that, hey, this has a shelf life. They were wrong because it doesn't. For
debatable.
Well, quality, yeah, but not with sponsors and stuff. Like, they're still raking it in. Like,
But anyway, the next episode was Homer and Apu, which was brilliant. I love Homer. And
higher rated than Bart Gets Famous. Higher rating, 8.3.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I think that 0.1 is entirely for the song "Who Needs the Quickie Mart."
Well, no, my favorite part about maybe, but my favorite part of it is the dog barking. Like, quiet, the dog is barking, and it's just like rah, rah, rah. It's just incredible. It's like that's actually something that my dad would do. Like, literally, it's just
the entire section in the Monster Mart is brilliant.
It's fantastic.
Or even just the entire
it's
James
happening
Woods
again.
segment.
Ma'am.
James Woods. And here's the thing: when I was watching this, when I was watching this as a kid, I didn't know who James Woods was. Then Hercules came out, and I knew who he was, and it still didn't make any sense because I'm like, why is Hades shouting at the oven? What's going on? And then obviously you start.
Then you find out who James Woods is.
Yeah, and then you're like, oh, okay, it makes way more sense now. But as a kid, you're still like, What a weird choice.
What's Hercules? What's Hades doing? In
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? Why is he so angry?
Or even again, I think my favorite joke in this is probably the video of Apu on the 78-hour shift.
Or like when James Woods is trying to like do the role with Jimbo, and Jimbo's just like, "I'm me, and you're me."
Hey, don't jerk me around, pal.
I love that bit at the end where he's like, going like, "Now," it's like he tells Pooh that he got his job back. He's like, "Now I'm off to fight aliens in outer space." Marge goes, "Oh, that sounds like a good movie." Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
movie.
No, I love where the conversation he's having with his agent. He's like, "Wait, how is a movie where I play a tightly wound convenient works the same?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, now that you mention it is the same movie." And he's like talking about like igloos or something. You're like, "What?" So good. Like the jokes are so well put together that they don't need to beat you over the head, and I think that's what's so fun about it. Like they're little kind of witty.
There's the subtlety to them.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
yeah,
we're not at the point where it's like a man fall down funny. It's more like the context is all there, and these characters so well how they should behave. And they do it, like Homer going in and he sees literally the hot dog or the spoiled beet or whatever fall, and he goes in and asks for a hot dog. And it's just like, what are you doing? It's like, oh no, sorry. He sees the hot dog falling down and he goes in and buys the hot dog. And it's like, that's amazing. He literally just seen it. But of course Homer's going to do it because he's Homer.
When they go to the what was like the head manager of the Quickie Mart
in India.
In India, we've got 3 questions, and Homer wastes all of them just making sure that he really does run all the Quickie Marts.
Are you really the head of the Quickie Mart? Yes. Really? Yes.
Yes.
Really? Yes.
Yes. Then Apu's trying to strangle him, and Homer's like, "No,
need to
you
apologize.
don't have to thank me or apologize." Yeah.
Oh, it's so good, so good. A very strong episode that kind of has that Simpsons return to status quo. Like, it literally is the quest for the status quo to be returned.
Yeah.
First Apu centric episode too.
Yep.
Yeah. Very good one. Very strong outing. It kind of says everything that needs to be said about Apu until the next Apu episode, which really kind of adds even more layers. I really like this one. I think it's great. The next one is even better again, where it gives him that huge, big backstory of how he came to America and why he's still there and all stuff. It's great. Great stuff. Yeah. Well done. Lisa versus Malibu Stacy. Love this one. This one is
absolutely
so
brilliant.
Good.
Classic.
Top tier. Everything about it. There's something wrong with what my Stacy says. Someone called for a webhead. Oh, it's so good. That's like Spider-Man.
This is undisputedly the best Lisa episode as well. Ever.
It's the only good Lisa episode.
Yeah. I really do love the one where she goes rogue because she's fed up about the idea of being a homemaker instead of a musician.
Oh yeah, that's a good one too. Actually, now to be fair, but I think with this one, she's not presented as being like cantankerous because she is right. Like she's 100% right what she's saying. And you could see it, and it's at no point are you rooting against her. But what I will say is, I remember one time I did a review of a wrestling game. Don't remember which one, for a magazine. And I didn't play the game, but I knew what it was. So I just made the whole thing a Simpsons reference based on this episode. That the game is literally just... What?
I think I know what wrestling game this was.
Yeah, it's one of the 2K series. I was like, it's literally Malibu Stacy gets a new hat. And it was just an extended reference.
I keep hearing snippets of these 2K wrestling games from you, and they don't sound like wrestling games.
Some of them are good, but most of them are just the same game over and over again with different, like with the exception of with different hat, exactly. With the exception of 2K20, which is a whole new crazy wild world thing. Which
this time the hat is melted.
The hat is melted.
Came in.
The hat is melted and fused to the face of the person who's wearing it.
The bargain bin Stacey's. I can't remember which ones they were.
I love Kathleen Turner as Malibu Stacy. I think it's fantastic casting, and it's brilliant. And I love when the scene with where she's in. I think it's the one where she's in Smithers' house and she's trying to get the address off him, and it's Mr. Burns on the screensaver, and it's like, "Hello, Smithers, you're quite good at turning me on." And it's like, it's gas as well, because at the scene where she's in Malibu Stacy's house, and it shows like Malibu Stacy's 3 husbands, and it's like He-Man and Action Man and like other action figures.
That was
like,
a joke
Dr.
that
Colossus.
completely went over my head until I watched it this time. The guy who like Dr. Claus, the guy like when he breaks down the door with the action figure, he talks about holding her with her kung fu grip. I don't know how I did not get those jokes before, but that was the funniest thing.
And he's just like, I'll bomb your house to the ground, Missy, and just leaves. You're like, what is going on? What I love about this is this adds a lot of layers to Smithers. Like I said this earlier on, if they had kept him as a black guy, you'd have the most like transgressive character trope ever in like that time. Imagine it, like it'd just be crazy. Even to that point, it's like mid-90s, and Smithers is out there like doing all this, and you're like, that's they were really, really, really ahead of their time.
It was a season 6 episode I watched where he's kind of talking. It's about a Republican Party, and he was like, "So why'd you go behind Mr. Burns' back?" I'll support Mr. Burns the day I die, but it's parts of my lifestyle with his Republican upbringing that I can't talk about.
Yeah, and it's like this is before they full on went, yeah, look, Smithers is a gay dude or whatever. But they set it up as they set it up in really interesting ways, and the fact that he's like running, it also gives you a cool kind of. Sorry, Brenna, it looked like you were like turning on a police siren there. But...
Yeah. I just have a weird. I was trying to fix a backlight. So.
That's like, are we being swatted? Is that what's going on? But no, what I like about it is it's like it gives you a cool window into conventions as well at this point, because it's like
StaceyCon 94 at the Hilton Hotel.
Yeah, but like
the Hilton Airport or something.
Yeah, because like at this point, even Comic-Con was in the basement of hotels beside airports, and now if those kind of conventions, they'd sell out like the Odyssey in London,
I'm on Sci-Fi Con.
Exactly, same kind of thing. It's like I think it's great. Like as timeless as these episodes are, when you put them back into context, you're like, wow, things are different. Things are very different, and now it's kind of really funny to think that jokes in the 90s are just reality now. Like into a whole crazy degree. But anyway, yeah, that was it. Like I love this. I also love the I'll take care of this person, and he throws a brick at her house, and he's like, "Did you hear that?" No. It's just what? Take care of.
Or like when you're
I called a favor from Washington.
Or like when they're doing when she's trying to do the hair for Malibu Station, she's like, "You gotta get my mom's hair just right," and they're like, "No, you've got to do my hair," and she's like, "You all have horrible hair."
Hideous
like,
hair.
From a design point of view.
Like,
okay. I love that excuse. Anytime I insult someone, I always add from a design point of view afterwards, and it's completely grand.
No, I can't do it now. I'm too drunk.
Favorite one as well, Krusty the Clown push her out of the way to go, "Oh hi, it's Krusty the Clown, Krusty the Clown, Krusty the Clown." Hi, and he goes, "That's how you do it." And he just gets out, and they're like, "Okay, Krusty, we're ready for you." What the fuck?
Learn from a pro.
That's how a pro does it.
So good, fantastic. Okay, look, I'm going to be controversial. The next ones are really good, but the next one in particular, I don't really like that much anymore.
Really? I don't know
why.
This is one of my favorites.
It used to be one of my favorites, but I don't know why I don't like it anymore or that much.
I think this is one of those episodes that, like, because I loved it when I was a kid, but I think it's less that, like, because it definitely has fallen out of favor with me, but I think it's less that the quality of the episode has gone down. It's that my esteem for other episodes around it has gone up.
That could be it. Be it. Like when I was watching it, I'm like, it's still funny, and it still has some great moments in it, but particularly when he goes, it's a lot funnier before he goes to space.
Yeah, like Barney getting sober and being like an amazing athlete is incredible to watch.
It's so good. But
just the guy with like the blackjack, just bang. Where do you get that?
I ordered it online.
Send away. It's so good. I also love the comment about where where like TV went and where space. Again, it's extremely timely, right? Space launches were perceived as very boring and still are. Like until a couple of weeks ago, we didn't have a space launch for like 9 years.
Well, there was two done by Elon Musk that were both pretty high profile. But
no, but I mean with NASA.
Oh yeah, no,
and that's what I'm talking about. Like it's and that is what this is kind of a critique of.
Yeah.
That like space became not something that was mystical or beyond humans' next exploratory path, which it is. It's now boring, and we who got this 20 years ago still thought it was boring up until Elon Musk redesigned it and made it sexy again. So
see, I actually saw this episode as more of a play on Apollo 11, like the Tom.
It is. Well,
yeah, the Tom Hanks. Yes, that's kind of that's the line I view it in.
Yeah.
And it's okay. What about this cataclysmic event? But it's a comedy of errors.
Yeah, well, I think like best, like the best story though, it has layers.
Yeah, a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything, and that's kind of the best one. Also has I for one welcome our new alien overlords, which is just really good.
I also just love the guy panicking over the crisps being open, where it's like,
oh no,
they're ridged.
Careful, they're ruffled.
Or like when he's about to crash into the ants, and they're like, "We have to protect the queen. Which one's the queen?
I'm the queen. No, you're not."
Wait, Homer, if you keep the carbon rod there, it'll keep us there. It'll keep us locked in while we're crashing. I'll get you to try to pull the rod out.
And it's like in Rod We Trust. Did you actually get to see the rod? It's just brilliant.
Oh, poor Homer.
Poor Homer, and it never gets his comeuppance. Also, Stanley Kubrick reference at the end. Throw the rod up, or it throws the marker up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, next one, Homer Love Flanders. Not a great episode, has great moments, has one of my favourite moments where I'm like, it just sums up Homer as a character, and you can't hate him even when he's a bit of a jerk. When he loses the tickets and Flanders wins, and then he starts singing along to the radio and he's really happy. He's like, it's just so cute. You're like, 2 tickets, and he's like, excellent guitar solo. They're just like, Homer's just really cool. You can't hate him, It has so redeeming, and that was just one of my favorite moments of the whole episode. But
I think it's one of those episodes where when you watch it as an episode, particularly when you're younger and you've nothing else to reference to it, it's not that great. But I think it's one of those episodes that's not great as an episode, but the things you take away from it, like the memes or the quotes or the famous scenes, like with him coming in and out of the bushes, chasing after the car, stuff like that. I think it's just its legacy as a meme in pop culture rather than the actual episode overall, because it's okay as an episode, but I think it's what you take away from it rather
Here's one for you. This episode exists in the Simpsons universe as a meme.
Yeah.
In one of the later episodes of Simpsons, Homer uses the gif of him going back into the bushes on his phone.
I remember seeing that.
So that's
somewhere.
the thing. That's where we are. And remember, this is during the time period where Homer is probably, this is his crazy fever dream.
Yeah.
So,
speaking of fever dreams, the next episode is Bart's Get the Milk.
Do not like this episode.
Where's my elephant?
Yeah. They're playing the elephant.
Love it. About elephants.
Do not like this episode. I never really bits of it are great. I love the interplay, the radio stuff. Obviously, working in radio and stuff like that, it's kind of gas. But it's like, how does he keep up with the news like that? And it's like, stop praising the machine. It's just so good, But when the overall episode itself falls flat for me.
It's probably if it isn't the weakest episode in the season.
It's not, but second. It's the second weakest. Yeah, the weakest one is at the second last one of this. I know.
We'll get there.
I knew. Oh, we're gonna get there. I knew.
I don't know. I don't
knew.
like.
I
think
knew
like
this.
it's the fact that it doesn't have like a B plot. it is just 20 minutes of the elephant.
The elephant, yeah.
There's only so many jokes that you can get out of that. But even then, I still think it's really, really good.
To be fair, well, you know, when he starts like retroactively pricing, he's like, "So you rode the elephant twice, so good." And then the dream sequence of what he wants to do with the, you know, oh sorry, no, that's a different episode. But I'm thinking of the mattresses, and it's just like,
Homer, your legs are in the tar. Okay, if I just put my arm in, grab this leg, and I grab this leg, and if I just fish my arms out with my mouth.
I'm gonna pull myself out with my face.
Or like when
it's gas. I think the episode's better than you're giving it credit for.
Oh, it is. It is. And what I will say is, again,
like the jokes alone.
But look, right, this from a rating standpoint, Bart's Inner, second lowest rated. Bart's Inner Child is 7.7. This is 7.9, and I think it suffers. Sorry, actually, its third lowest rate is the worst one is actually correct. It's 7.6. We'll get to that, but I think this suffers by its placement, right? And what I mean by that is the episodes before it and after it are so good, that it just gets lost. But again, it has this great legacy. The background that Brynny's using there is from this episode.
Well, it's from Homer Loves Flanders.
I was thinking that.
Oh wait, I apologize. Sorry, never mind. You know what I mean. My brain is gone.
I was going to use if I could have made a video, I would have done the sequence where Stampy goes through the Republican and Democratic.
Yes.
Because those sight gags are just incredible.
But they're also ones you don't get until you're a bit older because we're not in America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know,
they're so great.
They're ones that age really well as well because it's still as ridiculous as it was then. You know, we haven't moved on. But here's another thing, right? What I love about this is still appropriate, right? Like that's what's great about these seasons. They're evergreen, with the exception the minute they bring in technology or too much tech. Bringing too much tech or too much pop culture, it completely ruins it. And this episode really doesn't have that much, with the exception of the radio thing. But that kind of battle is still happening with automation and people, so it's still relevant. Maybe in about 10 years you won't be able to, but sure, look, it is.
Yeah, like it's easy to be timeless when the whole joke is revolved around, hey, this 10-year-old got an elephant.
Right? Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
I think it might fall down in some ways just because of the surrealism, because obviously that's not something that's ever going to happen. And
I don't know.
Things are,
I don't know. In America, stuff like that does happen. Like, America's wild, man.
I mean, again,
like
if he did thing, you can go, look, anything's possible in America if you put your mind to it.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure if the radio took the 10 grand they were supposed to give Bart and just they could buy an elephant.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can just buy an elephant. Look, Tiger King was a thing.
Yeah,
and man, there's many Tiger Kings in America. So, you know, God bless them, but that's a wild place. You know, stuff can happen. Next one, Burns' Air. Love this episode. So good.
I'm not a huge fan. It's good. Yeah. This one didn't take me.
Oh man, like come on,
it's good. But it just didn't hit me as much as anything else.
But when it has like Bart reading the card, and it's like, oh yeah, card good, you know, it's so good.
But Kev, he's sick.
Yeah, he's sick. Mr. Kearns, it's Mr. Mr. Burns, it's Mr. Kearns. No, it isn't.
Some of the gags,
like the whole Michael Caine, playing Homer. Like I didn't get that until much later on, and I was just like, this is so good. The writing is fantastic.
I am glad he is gone. Bart is a bad boy.
Just to put this on the baseline, none of these episodes are bad.
Yeah.
No.
So when I say I'm not a huge fan of it, that means, you know, it's still above like a 5 or 6.
Yeah. No, like
I think,
sorry, go on, bro.
I think it's kind of like, you know, if you're looking at every episode, I think it's one again. They're the episodes that you're going, oh, this is the weakest. Yeah, it's because like you're going, well, it just didn't hit me with as many jokes as the rest of them did.
Yeah.
And that's
kind of the season with Cape Fear,
when you're watching 6 episodes back to back to back. This is the one that I don't first think of.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And again, this suffers from kind of how good the quality is.
Yeah.
You know, when
Yeah.
and this is why, again, when it comes to the one we're going to talk about, it's really annoying because I'm like, how is it so bad? How is it so bad? It probably isn't bad. It's just, by the time at that point, I'm expecting a big payoff, and it just kind of isn't there. And the last 2 episodes are they're good, but I'm still expecting that kind of payoff, and it doesn't happen. It's weird. It's like, I wish if they had like rotated these and maybe moved them around a little bit more, it could have ended stronger. But we'll talk about that near the end.
Yeah, I think definitely like this Burns there just falls flat for me.
Yeah,
because then it's followed.
Yeah.
By Sweet Seymour Skinner's badass song.
And the boy who knew too much. It's followed by 2 of the best episodes of the series.
Yeah, no, like, oh god,
come on,
yeah, badass
so
Skinner.
So
just, I love Skinner-centric episodes.
Oh, you don't like it? Yeah. See, here's the thing. I was actually thinking about this, right? I really like this one because it fleshes out Bart so much and fleshes out Skinner so much, where you're like, you genuinely feel it for them. You're like, you guys would get on, but you can't because... And I'm just thinking it's great. And Lisa, your reaction to this is probably the exact same reaction that I have to Lady Bouvier's lover, where it just doesn't hit for me. Yeah,
that's fair enough.
It just doesn't hit for me. It just... that's what's great about this types of The Simpsons, or Time for The Simpsons. There's something there for everyone. And that's what's missing. You can pull... Again, it's like what you take out of it and what you relate to. And I'm like you, Kev. I relate to Seymour's and Bart's strife here.
It's just it's just fun to have it to see these two characters that have been at odds for the better part of 5 seasons. Just have a barbecue together.
Yeah, but actually be legitimate friends.
Yeah.
Which is
and also the Billy and the Clonosaurus bit.
Oh yes,
every time.
Bit.
What were you thinking?
You
take an idea that's already been done better. You give it a name that nobody would care about.
I also
brilliant. That's like the best bit in it.
I also love when Skinner becomes the drill sergeant again, and he's trying to teach he's trying
history of the Parthenon
while doing getting them to march. It's just brilliant.
But he doesn't tell them how old. He's just like, we don't know.
We don't know.
But that's real good, but needs improvement. Here's a weird thing, though, right? This is followed up by The Boy Who Knew Too Much, which is so fantastic. I love it. Like, for the memes
This should have been the season finale.
Yeah, it should have been.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, this should have been. It would, like, everything kind of built up to it. This is the crescendo of the series, of this season. Why it's weird because the placement of it comes after they've established this friendship, yet they're right back to being not only enemies, but like he's the Terminator coming to get him.
Enemies.
Some non-giving up school guy.
Exactly. But also what I love about it is one of my favorite moments. Obviously, this is the one with Chowder.
Yeah.
Chowder.
Right.
Chowder. Say a Frenchie.
I am not some bumbling French chef.
Also, it has
the children is wrong meme as well, I think.
Oh yeah, the children are wrong. But it also has I know you can read my mind too, boy. Meow 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 meow.
In fairness, I think I might have said this a couple of seasons ago, but like it's difficult to kind of put this up to kind of hold these seasons to the standard of like, a back to front seasonal arc, because they were kind of serialized back to back to back to back for just the weekly consumption.
Yeah. They were, but what, like, that makes sense. And when you're given that time period, of syndication, it's like, okay, cool. But the way it's run and it's originally released, because these were all released week after week, it just doesn't fit. It's just kind of weird. And that's why when I'm going back and watching this, when we get to the next one, Lady Bouvier's Lover, and then even Secrets of a Successful Marriage, it's like, oh, this is a bit flat. But at least I'm going to give you the floor, because I can feel the disagreement. So
I just love the Mrs. Bouvier episode. I think it's definitely my favorite of the season, next to Cape Fear and the Treehouse of Horror and Mindy. But I just think it's brilliant. I don't always love Grandpa Simpson episodes. Like, he's okay. Sometimes he has some great lines. Sometimes he's very boring. it's just the rivalry between him and Mr. Burns is really funny. And there's just something kind of really, it's when the Simpsons still had heart. It was a really nice balance of heart, but not schmaltz, kind of, over gooey. I just think it's really funny, and there's some classic lines. Like, I think it's gas.
It also has the great Graduate reference at the end of it.
Oh, brilliant.
This movie!
It's funny. I'd never seen The Graduate, and yet I know that scene back to front from this episode and Wayne's World 2.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the thing. They're around the same time.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
It's just, yeah.
So yeah, no, I find God, I thought I had her name there. Like Marge's mom. I just find her like cynicism incredibly charming. Just her.
Oh, it's brilliant. She hates her children. She hates her life. She hates her husband. It's gas. Everything about like Mrs. Bouvier. She's not a happy woman. And it's like, there's other episodes where I think it's the episode where Bart goes missing at Thanksgiving, and she's like,
"Oh yeah,
I'd speak comfort to you, but my voice," and it's like, you can talk, you bitch. You're just being a wagon.
But
she also then says after that, it's like, "I'm gonna just say one more thing. I shouldn't have come."
But it's cast away. She doesn't even want to be with. It's just so lovely because he's like, well, you have to pick one of us. Do you want to be with me or Mr. Burns? And she's like, I don't want to be with either of you. And he's just like,
that's good enough for me.
That's good enough for me. It's gas. It's kind of one of those things where she doesn't mind being wooed, but ultimately she kind of doesn't mind being on her own as well, And it's just funny. And as well, like when Mr. Burns is sorry, I just have to plug in my phone. It's about to die, and it's gas because like when Mr. Burns is there, like, oh, no need for the blown gasket, Charlie, I'll have it back in one piece, and he's just there like this big Glenn Miller swing band dancing, or going like completely wild, like sweeping her off her feet, and there's poor Grandpa Simpson just sitting there like completely like
also
unable
it comes
to
up
even like.
It comes up in a couple of episodes as well. The copyright lawyers coming in, squashing everything. That's a bit that doesn't get off me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. Well, is there anything wrong with me, like lying in the street dying? And they're like checking through the notes to see if there's anything wrong with him lying in the street dying, and they're like, no, that's totally fine or something. It's like,
he just took his hat off and just stomped on the ground.
I know, it's awful. I just think that's a brilliant episode, to be honest. I think
it's weird, right? Because in the lore, not only is this Abe and Mona's, not Mona, Miss Bouvier. What's her name or her real name?
I don't think we know her first name.
I don't think we know.
Oh, I'm sure it's somewhere.
It's Blanche or something. I can't remember her name. I don't know. But Mona was Abe's first wife.
Yeah.
So this would be their second relationship, I suppose, big relationship. But this is the
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, thank you.
Jacqueline Bouvier.
This is the second time we've seen Abe have a relationship with someone that wasn't Mona, and it kind of not ending well. Now, to be fair, at least she didn't die, which is good. But we do
step up.
Yeah.
But we do know at this point that Marge's dad is dead.
Yeah.
So
they never mention him. That's so weird.
They don't mention
there was
him.
It was one of the flashback episodes where we actually saw him, and I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, no, we see him. We see him in the 70s, the prom episode where he goes to prom, and then later on in like a future episode of Simpsons, we actually see him properly. Yeah. But and then also Fear of Flying, where he's a air hostess. That's where we see him too.
And that caused Marge to have an entire
Fear of Flying.
that and nearly being gunned down by a plane at a cornfield.
Yeah, but that would do it. That would do it on Nearly Edge, to be fair. Okay, so wrapping things off or rounding it out, we have Secrets of a Successful Marriage, another huge meme episode, right? And obviously the main one being
Here's the
411, which is fantastic. I love this in general. I'm a teacher, I can do this, or stop bullying the older
Lenny
bucks.
can teach a class. Lenny can teach a class.
I mean, I can teach a class.
Homer, you ruined you ruined a jacket. Correction, I ruined two jackets.
Homer, I think it's supposed to be leather patch and a suede jacket.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think for the memes, I think it's a boring episode overall, but the memes are like top tier.
Yeah.
It ends up. It's an episode that has a lot of heart to it, though. At the end, where Homer is like, he realizes he needs his marriage more than anything else.
Complete and utter
It's
dependency.
like, that's not a good thing.
Oh,
But
God.
it's not a great ending. It's a great filler. And when it came on syndication, it was one that I would watch, but I wouldn't be upset if I skipped it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's weird, if they had just changed the overall order of these a little bit, it would have been super strong watching it. Nowadays. But again, this was 30 years ago. I don't think they cared about what nerds on the internet would say 30 years from the future, about their
Hey man, if Homer goes to college is anything to think by, they're thinking about nerds talking about them on the internet.
That's fair, and we will get there. 'Cause that's it's funny, right? We have like 3 or 4 seasons of absolute gold, and then it stops and it's kind of splurting. So enjoy it while it's there, guys, because we have a lot of good to get through before we start, slumming it.
Before we get into the ugly.
Well, no, we get to the unpleasant, and then the ugly, and then the nightmarish.
Ooh.
So yeah, we don't know
And
how
the
long.
Simpsons we just don't talk about.
Yeah, I don't know how long this is going to keep going, but we will keep it going up until we stop having fun, and then depending on what people say.
Season 12 then.
The fighting words. Season 12 is good.
No, season 12 by the standards of IMDb is the last season to have an episode rated above, and to have one episode rated at 8.
Yeah, that's fair. I would say season 12 is still quite good.
And then that's it for pretty much ever. There's no more 8s after that.
Ugh.
Oh.
I remember seeing a graph of it on Reddit where someone basically mapped out every single season, and you could just see like the heat map of different of which seasons had the first 6 the first episode that had it wasn't even a 6, it was a 5.9 is in season 6.
Oof.
And it's and again we'll get to it. It's like it's a poor episode, but like this is the that's going to become a very standard experience, is episodes of that quality, and that one had an excuse because it was a clip show. So
well, look, what I would say is, again, if you're new to this and you've never seen The Simpsons before, 1, thanks for listening to a show about it, and 2, this is the time to watch. Season 4, 5, 6, 7, they're key. So I don't know when we're going to do the next one of this. It might be in a while. Lockdown is slowly reopening, so we will kind of see what we're going for that going forward. Guys, if you're listening to this on Phoenix 92.5 FM, go over to Nerd to Know Media. Do it now. You have a phone, no excuse. Go over and check out all the shows. Subscribe on Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff, and also on YouTube, where a new show drops every single day. Might not be a show, it's a new video. There's a whole load of bunch of content there as well, so I would suggest that. Before we wrap up, guys, we're all very busy people. We're all doing an awful lot show wise. So Lisa, tell the good people about what you're involved with and how they can contact you.
Through Nerd to Know Media Network, I run a podcast called Straight Outta Canto. It's fortnightly, and it's all about J-horror, 90s and noughties nostalgia, retro kind of gaming. We started doing like a lot of book reviews and stuff like that about like weird kind of cult niche books and stuff like that, and a lot of weird kind of spooky movies and kind of weird, creepy, kinky things about Japan. So if you're into that kind of thing, that's kind of cool. I also do, in between the 2 weeks where the show will be on, I've taken to reading bad creepypasta and doing mini panels, because God knows when conventions are coming back. So yes, Straight Outta Canto.
Okay. Bryn.
I've got another interview to come out with Shannon from Mark Out Wrestling, where he's making an indie wrestling game that should be coming out soon. There's a bit of editing left to do on it. And then I don't think I've got anything else in the pipeline just yet for release.
And Kev?
And I run Anime Crash Course. It is the Nerd to Know Media channel's anime book club. Every month we take a series, digest on it, and talk about it. first episode previewed a couple of weeks ago on One Punch Man. And
Ew.
our next episode will be releasing at the start of... What month are we on now? At the start of July. And we will be covering Miss Kobayashi's Dragon Maid.
Woo!
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, it's a really fun show, man. I've checked it out and I really enjoy it. There's a good mix of people on it there, so do check that out. All the shows are on Nerds Know Media, YouTube, also Spotify and stuff like that as well. Bunch of game reviews, interviews, all that kind of stuff as well, and bunch of shows from the vault. Remember, we stream every... That is a cool cat.
This is Bagel.
Oh, Bagel! Hey, Bagel! Oh,
Shooter.
oh, not happy.
Bagel's a jerk.
Not happy. Yeah, we stream every week on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. and the wrestling show that we have, the Wrestling Rewind, 6 p.m. on Mondays. So if you guys want to join us, that's how you can reach us live, or go over to nerdtoknowmedia.com. Nerdtoknowmedia on gmail.com is also how you can interact with the show, or our social medias. There's a lot there. Katie and Keen do a great job on that front. But guys, we're going to get out of here for this week. Thanks for joining us. And for everyone on Nerd to Know Media, we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.